So we've have so many countries to talk to. It is it's incredible. I think Scott and I'm not sure we could ever have enough time in the day to talk to all these countries because they want to talk and they want to talk now. And they have come with offers that they never, ever, ever would have come with, but for the moves that the president has made, demanding that people treat the United States with respect.
That was Howard Lutnick, our United States Secretary of Commerce, talking about how there's not enough time in the day for all the countries that now want to come to the negotiating table. And this comes after Donald Trump pauses tariffs for 90 days for dozens of countries. Now, this is great news for Bitcoin holders because now the Federal Reserve has a higher likelihood of lowering rates, which is always bullish for risky assets like cryptocurrency. And this is on top of U.S. inflation data from this morning is also falling 2.4%, which is lower than expectations. So you take all this coupled together, Goldman Sachs is now rescinding their calls for a recession because the markets are loving the pause on tariffs for 90 days. Now you can see how the markets are reacted to the tariff pause. The markets love that news. It blasted off. It printed thousands of dollars on Bitcoin for just a small amount of hours, about $1,000 an hour at one point. But Bitcoin has erased a large portion of its gains. But this is setting up a perfect catalyst for another Bitcoin pump. And nobody else is talking about this catalyst. And that catalyst is China, but it's not what people are thinking. Now, obviously, Trump versus China, this trade war is affecting Bitcoin, it's affecting the stock market, but there is upside potential that I need to put on your radar. Now, first, if the China deal comes, markets will explode. And the reason why is it's already priced in. So if there is no deal with China, the markets are already expecting that. And so Trump has signaled max pain for China and is willing to negotiate. And so if we get a China deal, the markets can only reprice much, much higher. But that doesn't fully explain the dump that we saw with Bitcoin. Now, let me tell you why I think this dump is going to be short-lived, and I do think we're going to bounce from here. This Kobayashi letter post right here really details it, because we saw the losses extend to stock market as well. S&P futures extend losses to 125 points despite weaker than expected inflation data. So we got good news from the tariffs, we got good news from inflation data. So why are the markets dumping? Well, the markets think that the recently strong jobs report and the good inflation data will now give Trump the green light to continue the trade war. And so once again, this is really setting up, once we get a China deal, which I do think is going to happen at some point, that's when the markets are really set to explode. I want to give a quick shout out to L Bank Exchange. It is my favorite exchange to get all of the latest trading pairs, all of the hottest meme coins and altcoins. You can go to the spot trading or you could do futures perpetual trading. And we have a link down below with the tutorial on the top of our page. Tons and tons of features here, 24/7 customer support, huge reach here, huge volume, millions of users, and they have over 200 countries and regions covered. So go ahead, open up an account, deposit some funds, and start your trading journey. Now, Bitcoin just flashed another bullish signal that last time it printed a few months ago led to mega pumps for Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and look at this real quick. That is going to be a bullish divergence just now printing on the daily chart. We had covered this when it was into the 4-hour, rolling into the 8-hour, and now we've seen it on the 24-hour timelines. And so on Bitcoin's price, you're seeing a lower low, but on Bitcoin's RSI, the relative strength index, you're seeing a higher low with this recent price decline. So we look at the previous time, we saw something similar. It's going to be this area right here. You can see we did not get a daily close below this area, and then we had some lower daily closes right around here. So this is going to be July 8th, 2024, and this is rolling into around August 5th, 2024. But if we look at the relative strength index, we are seeing higher highs. But if we look at the relative strength index down here, we're seeing higher lows relative to the lower lows that we're seeing in the price action. And if we look at what happened at Bitcoin in the immediate aftermath, it traded sideways for a while. But after it traded sideways, that's when Bitcoin had finally got done coiling up. And once it got done coiling up, that's when it shot off like a spring. Imagine if you push a spring, the longer you squeeze that spring, the more likely it's going to take out someone's eye. And it looked like in this case, it took out the bear's eye because the bulls were fully in control. Now, if you want to predict when is this going to happen, just kind of looking at how long it took last time from the bull div. Arguably, we got another bull div, so you can measure it two different ways. One way, you could say it took about 3 months, that's 91 days. The other one you would say, no, really kind of triggered at this point, and I would say the pump started 59 days, so roughly 2 months later. So if it were to happen 2 months from now, you're looking at a pump for the beginning of June or potentially maybe even the late portion of May, because it would be 59 days. So that's the scenario for Bitcoin. Do not let the markets shake you out. We're seeing a lot of volatility. Going back to the 5-minute chart here, you can see, Bitcoin wanting to erase a lot of the gains, but still showing some pretty strong support. And in fact, it looked like it just kind of did a test of this trend line right here. So Bitcoin, the bulls are still in control. We did lose a lot of the gains, but I think there's going to be plenty of gains up ahead of us. Don't get shaken out. I'm DZ. Hopefully I'll see you in your Bitcoin bags at the top.